Now they're gonna, as the scriptures say, all Israel shall be saved, but the Lord said He's gonna separate. 1/3 is gonna be saved first, which is the remnant or the elect, and then 2/3 is gonna be destroyed and come back in the kingdom and reincarnation.
That's right. Yep. And we get the top. Revelation 11:8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom in Egypt.
It's, spiritually is Sodom and Egypt. Sodom and Gomorrah, that place has been destroyed, and spiritually it's the same wickedness that's going on here in America. In Egypt, the Lord took us out of and delivered us out of the land of Egypt, but the Lord said He's gonna come again and deliver us out of modern day Egypt in the glorious apparel or glory, the UFO, and His greatness of His power.
That's right.
Now I'm gonna read that back in Isaiah 19. It said, the burden of Egypt, which is America, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, because there's no document or no record of the Lord coming back to destroy what you call Egypt over there now. That's how you know it's talking about America. And the brother give me Joel 3:19. You got it? It says, in the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at His presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it.
Yeah, this is the pride of Egypt.
Yes,
right.
These are the type of things that are gonna be melted through the Spirit. You know, and this is somewhat in the heart of the city, because when you read it, the description up there, it tells you that they put it in this particular position on purpose.
That's right, yeah. Like every town has a square of Freemasonry. That's why when the disciples asked Yahushua what's going to be the sign of the coming or the end, He said when all these stones are not left upon each other, because the Lord's going to rip up all this place because of all the idols.
That's right.
Every town, every square in America and throughout the world, they got squares.
Yeah.
Goes back to Freemasonry, goes back to the witchcraft, goes back into the planet of Saturn, because on the top of Saturn, it has a cube which these damn devils worship.
That's right. And if I could say too, even if you see around the centered around it, you see the Roman style columns.
Right, that's right.
You see all the Roman style, the Roman architecture, and you know when you go into Roman architecture, they had like 3 different styles of Roman columns that they would build. I know one of them was called the Iconium pillars, and all of them had a satanic symbolic meaning behind it, man.
That's right.
You know, so everything, you know, on the top, you see they got the you know, was it Anno Domini, Populus American. You know, they have all kind of codes and symbolism written within them stones, and the scriptures tell you what not to do that, like what the elders bringing out.
Yeah, cuz. Now, going back to that, because America is spiritually Egypt, because what? In ancient Egypt, under Ramses, I believe, II, they had all 12 tribes in slavery. Now, over here in America, all 12 tribes over here being persecuted once again.
Yep.
And it goes into Joel 3:19, because Edom and Egypt is synonymous.
Right. This is Joel 3:19. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness.
That's because, going back to Revelations 11:8, this place is spiritually Sodom and Gomorrah and spiritually Egypt. That's America. And Edom and Egypt, they're the new Egyptians.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why they got what? The Washington Monument. On the back of your dollar bill, they got the pyramid with the Latin terminology, which goes back to Egypt or Rome, which is a extension of Esau's kingdom or Esau's kingdom. Nubis Ordo Seclorum.
Yep. And it was
It's all
on
linked.
It was on that pillar, that square
That's
up
right.
there.
Look it up.
Yep. Right, and like what the elder's saying, right up there on this tablet, they have a paragraph, you know, speaking on this art, and at the top of the paragraph, the heading, it says Novus Ordo Seclorum, just to add to the point the elder made.
Right.
You know, I'll continue on. It says, for the violence against the children of Judah.
Read that from the beginning, man.
Khan. This is Joel 3:19. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed the innocent blood in their land.
And that goes to Joel the 3rd chapter with the Valley of Jehoshaphat. The Lord's going to get all the heathen to burn them, but He's going to burn this place and leave it as a memorial for what? The violence they did against the children of Israel.
That's right.
All the rape, robbery, slavery, the castration, the taking the children out of their homes and putting them in different plantations, which is happening to this day under the guise of ICE, which still goes into what? The sufferation, or as the Lord said, our Lord Yahushua said, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and the violent take it by force.
Right.
That violent is the so-called white man.
That's right.
How did he get this place and everything else? Through the sword.
Yep. That's how he was even able to erect this.
That's right.
Because of the initial archetypus, he got it through the sword. Hey, and that was a disrespectful thing to do, man. When you go into the temple of the Israelites, that was a bold move, because that's if you go into the temple, that's where the spirit of Yahweh dwelt.
That's right.
In the Holy of Holies. So for them to go into the temple where the Israelites would send up their offerings and sacrifice, and then come back in the land that they stole and erect that same architecture, it shows that this place got to be destroyed.
Yeah,
Right?
you see that the Yahweh Shemel Shai has Edom and Egypt lumped together.
That's right.
Because history is repeating itself again. Esau has gained control in Egypt, starting with Alexander, and then now he's gained control of Egypt again. Hey, even in real life, didn't it? It wasn't Gaddafi. It was they took down, they so-called liberated Egypt, but they destroyed it. It just shows you that Esau always has his part in Egypt, physically and spiritually. Esau clings to Egyptian gods, those deities, and that's how he gains some of his power. All right, and that's how he's able to establish monuments and stuff like this. And people are oohing and ahhing over it.
Right.
This is nothing to reverence or to be amazed at. You know, this is a symbolism of the downfall of these Latinos and Native Americans.
That's part of their trophies on conquering us as a people.
God.
Egypt and America is synonymous in what? You know, Egypt and America is synonymous. One of y'all brothers give me Jeremiah 46:24. You'll see it. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
It says, it says Egypt is cometh out of the north.
Oh man.
And that's a heifer. A sacrifice. Heifer is what? A cow, isn't it? Yep, a female cow. That goes back into Baal, or that there's symbols of Baal. But it's also something that's about to be taken out or cooked by the nuclear missiles.
Right. Matter of fact, now I'm done 24 for you.
Americans get all this of all of them in one. They got every idol from all those different kingdoms over here in America in some form or fashion.
That's right.
Yeah.
It says, she shall be delivered into the hand of the people of the north.
That links up with Ezekiel 38. Gog and Magog, Russia,
Yep.
the bear in Revelation.
Yep.
They're gonna take down the leper or America. When you read Isaiah where we was at, 19:2, the Lord said he's gonna make the Egyptian go against the Egyptian.
Yep.
The Edomites over there in Russia is gonna destroy the Edomites that's over here in America,
That's right.
which is the modern day Egyptians.
Yep.
That's right. All right, finish the last verse, verse 25. The Lord of hosts, the power of Israel, saith, behold, I will punish the multitude of No and Pharaoh in Egypt with their gods and their kings, even Pharaoh and all them that trust in him.
Yep, and that go into all Pharaoh, his host, his army. This time, the Lord drowned them with the water when they separated, when the Lord had Moses separated the waters, right? And we walked through. Now the Lord's gonna burn their ass with that fire.
That's right.
The whole host. The
Yep.
Valley of the Lord said he has a great sacrifice.
Yep. That second death.
Yep.
Yeah, Esau's bringing the heat, man. You know, Esau's coming, he's trying to, what they did in 70 AD to us, they're gonna try and do that again, you know, by instituting this mark of the beast.
Right.
And when they try to make a move with that Novus Ordo Seclorum, that's when the Lord is gonna rain that fire down, like the elder just said, you know, he's gonna wipe this thing clean off the face of the earth, man.
That's right, man.
You know?
And if I could say, that's what, when they temple, that pretty much Romanized Jake.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have that place of sacrifice to go to the Lord. It was no longer available. Just as you had what? When you had the what was it? When the Greeks went and defiled the temple during the time of Antiochus. Yep. You know, Jake couldn't go to the temple and sacrifice, man. Mm-hmm. You know, so now the third temple is who? It's the elect, the 144,000. And they're gonna try to come at the elect and try to do what? Try to implement that microchip on brothers. But the Lord gonna keep this third temple intact.
Yeah.
And that's how Jake is going to be able to be joined back with Yahushua. It's through, you know, the Holy Spirit and him raising up the members of the elect. Yeah. So it's all spiritual, you know.
I'll just bring out some history. This is in the Maccabees prior to 70 AD, because what happened in Maccabees came back again.
Yep.
You know, just like we said, history always repeats itself. There's no new thing under the sun. Now this is 2 Maccabees 8 and verse 1. It says, Then Judas Maccabees and they that were with him went privily into the towns and called their kinfolks together and took unto them all such as continued in the Jews' religion, and assembled about 6,000 men, and they called upon the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, that he would look upon the people that was trodden down of all, and also pity the temple profaned of ungodly men, and that he would have compassion upon the city, sore defaced and ready to be made even with the ground, and hear the blood that cried unto him, and remember the wicked slaughter of harmless infants, and the blasphemies committed against his name, and that he would show his hatred against the wicked. You know, and that's an example of what happened prior to 70 AD with Vespasian and his sons coming in and ransacking our people, man.
Yeah.
You know, and that's exactly what they're gonna try and do again.
Yeah.
You know, it said they were killing the harmless infants. You know, blaspheming the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. So the Lord's gonna have to act on that because He's very jealous of these things.
That's right. That's right. You know, and I got a quick precept going into that. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, and I'm gonna start at verse 7. It says, Your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land and strangers devoured. Salakia, I'm gonna read it from the top. Your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land, strangers devour it in your presence. Okay? And it says, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. Okay? So imagine, you know, what Israel was going through when the Romans came and they ransacked the temple. When you look at the archetypes, you see the Roman carrying the menorahs and the scrolls and all kind of the different things that was inside of the temple. This is a slap in the nigga's face.
Yeah. Right.
This is a slap in the nigga's face, and right beside it is different condominiums and towers, and that's what. And Jake is, you know, worried about that, but they don't see this big slap right in their face. Yeah. And ultimately, ultimately they don't know it, you know. But that's why, hey, the Lord said what? He will raise up prophets in the last times to tell you.
That's right.
That's why we out here. Yeah. You know. We ain't getting a physical paycheck for doing this. We coming out here to edify, man. Right. You know, you had something.
Come real quick. Sliding in there. It's Psalms 77 and 5. I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient times. And that goes right with it, man. This is history, man. Yeah. Like you said, you got Jake's living around here, living it up, riding in Lamborghinis and, you know, shucking and jiving. Meanwhile, this is the history of our people, man.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, and say that that word consider, it means to analyze carefully, man.
Yep.
I'll say this, you're talking about the history and the future.
Yeah, that's
right. You got over here right in Georgia, they got the Georgia Guidestones where they said they want to make the world's population of 500 million. Right now, according to Esau's database, they said the world is populated by 8 or 9 billion. You know how much slaughter and destruction?
That's a lot, man.
And really, you look at all these so-called whistleblowers from your Alice Jones, whether they paid off or not, they always emphasize one thing, that the rest of the people are gonna catch hell, but they really got a disdain hate for the so-called Negroes and Latinos.
Yep. Yeah.
Look at that. You got ICE coming through. They're not grabbing these gooks or Chinese. They're not grabbing any funky Africans or Arabs. They're grabbing Latinos because they know that you're part of the 12 tribes of Israel.
That's right.
Oh well, it's like that of your point, because a lot of them people, they're also coming in through the border too. But they not, you know, but they don't talk about that. They just talk about what they're doing to the Hispanic tribes.
Yep.
Okay, but that goes back to the elder's point, because Esau knows that he has to eliminate Jacob for trying to regain that blessing, man. You know, and that's what he's trying to do.
Yep.
You know?
And this is all symbolic of the hatred for Jake. Yep. That's why Yahweh Shai warned Israel about this in, what's that, Matthew 24? That's right. He said, when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies. Yep. But that was going into when the Romans came down on Israel after Yahweh Shai is departing. Okay, that was when the Romans came down. You know, you had the Jewish Roman wars that I think it started around 66 AD. Yeah, give or take. But 70 AD. That was when, like, they came down on Jake. They took down the temple and pushed Jake into remote areas of Rome.
What they call it, an all-out assault.
Yep, it was a straight blitz on Israel, man.
Yeah,
which they're about to do now.
Yep.
They stopped all the food coming in, all the food going out. You know, a lot of our people were starving during them times too.
Yep. I got a quick precept.
Okay.
This is Ecclesiastes 3:15. That which hath been is now. So like we was just talking about how the history of what Esau's done and coming down upon Jerusalem, upon our people, that's the same thing that Esau's getting ready to do now. History is repeating itself.
Yep.
It says, and that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High requireth that which is past. So the Most High is going to get his revenge on these Edomites, you know, for their indignation against Jake, you know, because he requires that which is past.
He's got them in a trick bag. He's going to require them to do the same thing.
Yep.
and get the judgment for it.
Be judged for it. That's right.
Exactly.
Yep, other than that.
You had something?
Yeah, just real quick. This is Psalms 137 and verse 7. It says, "Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us." So the same way that you see the archetypes, like how it is in New York, where with you can actually see them taking all of our stuff out, that's going to happen to you. We're going to come into these different lands and reap the resources of it.
Isaiah 6.
And you're going to be the ones to carry it all the way from Russia into the Holy Land.
That's right.
Or all the way from Europe into the Holy Land.
That's right, bro.
You know?
Yeah,
We'll
well,
pack you on ships with
That's
goods.
right.
You
Yeah,
know?
well, this is the prophecy. That's why Scripture said things written aforetime for our learning. This is Jeremiah 30 and 16. It said, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. And it's talking about the so-called white man, and you gotta look up Edom and Idumea, or the Idumeans when you look at when you do the research, and there's nothing but bad judgment coming from it.
That's right.
You know? It said, therefore that devour thee shall be devoured. The so-called white man is the top of that chart. But then you got the Philistines, them nasty ass Africans.
Yeah.
You got the Chinese.
The
You
Arabs.
got the Arabs. You got all of them. When you read Isaiah 11 and 11, the Lord said he's going to come the second time to get the remnant of his people. And then it said we're going to get together and tear the heathen up.
Yep.
Micah the 5th chapter.
Yep.
Right? It says, therefore all that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries. Every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and they that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. And you niggas, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, don't even realize you're being preyed upon. You're in the ghettos. They got cops sitting in the cut, giving you tickets for noise pollution. Listen to that Jungle Bunny rap music or salsa, merengue,
Right.
reggaeton.
Bachata.
Yeah, all that bullshit, reggae, right? Then you got them sitting there giving you speeding tickets, seatbelts. When you look at all these trap zones, they're always set up on the hood. They oppress the poor. Even right now, we was talking about it through the Spirit of the Lord. In Georgia, you got the prison system which got our people in captivity. But right here, and they're paying what, 24 cents a day? But right here in Georgia, this is one of the states, this in Texas, where they don't pay their inmates 1 red cent. You're part of the prey, free labor.
Yep. I got something. And this is, you know, going into Esau. This is Obadiah. I started verse 9. I started verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So for Esau's violence and coming against our people, the Lord's going to cut them off.
Yeah.
And these are the scriptures, especially when you go into the book of Obadiah, that Esau doesn't like to get into.
Yeah.
You know, because it goes into his history. You know, and these scholars and these archaeologists and these top elites of these so-called white people, they know. You know, it says, in that day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem.
And that's why the prophecy in Jeremiah said all thy adversaries, because it wasn't just Esau that benefited off of taking us out of our land.
Yeah.
All these other, once the power was stripping from Israel, all the heathens' power started rising up. The Moabites started benefiting off it. The Ishmaelites, the Arabs started getting bread. Elam started getting bread. You know, you got to remember that we went into slavery in slavery in India too. You know, in different parts of Asia, man.
Hey, the transatlantic slave trade strengthened the economy of the world.
Oh yeah.
You know, because Jake then, not only was Jake put on the bottom, Jake, like the elder was going into yesterday, anywhere where Jake is at, you're gonna have a thriving country, man.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You know, your country's gonna thrive. You're gonna have flavor. You know, in the music, you're gonna have flavor in the food. You're gonna have flavor in the clothing.
Yep.
Yep.
Everything about your society is gonna be on the up and up because the kings of the earth is at the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, so you could put them to work, and you could take all of the ideas they gotta when you go into like these different corporations that create certain things. They have what's called a suggestion box, man. You know, and Jake, you know, you just pretty much write down a suggestion and put your suggestions in there. And when Esau had these big ass meetings, they take your suggestions and they implement them into their corporation.
Yeah.
And they take all the credit and they just design a patent number and
Yep.
claim it, and then
Trademark
you go back to the hood, nigga.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, that's how they
Yep.
do it.
Yep.
You know?
Just a little bit more. It says, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou wast one of them.
Yeah.
But thou shouldst not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldst thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah.
Right, and this is a symbol of their rejoicing.
Yep.
This is a symbol of them looking upon us. The scripture said, "Thou shouldst not have looked upon us." This is a symbol of them looking upon us, man. You know, this arch is a symbol of that, man. Straight up and down.
So it says, neither shouldst thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldst thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. And they speak proudly now.
Yep.
Okay? That's why they erect these arches, you know. That's why they set up these days like Columbus Day. That ain't got nothing to do with, you Israelites at the bottom.
Right,
That's
right.
them conquering the tribes of Gad, the tribes of Reuben, Issachar,
that's right.
and then them bringing the other southern kingdom tribes over here.
That's right.
These are that day is coming up soon. You know?
I got a precept for you. This is Lamentations 2:16, right? It said, all thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee. Who's our enemies? Esau, Chinese, Japanese, anyone that's on the 12 tribe sign, that is the heathen.
That's right.
Yep.
They said, all thy enemies have opened up their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Who's the her? The nation of Israel. Certainly this is the day that we look for we have found, for we have seen it. The Lord hath done that which he had devised. He hath fulfilled his word. He had commanded in the days of old. He has thrown down and have not pity. He had caused thy enemy to rejoice over thee. He has set up the horn of thy adversary. And they knew it was prophesied that what was going to fall away. They had witches, soothsayers. That's why they used to boldly or boast, says manifest destiny.
Right.
Because it was destined that we was going to fall away first and come back though.
That's right.
Yep.
Now we boldly say through the Spirit of the Lord, it's manifest destiny that your ass going to slavery.
That's right.
right.
It's manifest
Right.
destiny that your children get thrown upon the rocks.
Yeah.
It's manifest destiny that all the saints of the Most High are going to have the honor to put feathers of irons upon your ass.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. You got some more, but I got just a little bit more.
That was it on that, yep.
Okay, come. And this to back you up. This is Obadiah verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head.
Yep,
So the
there's the
things
cup.
that you set up for us, you know, having us in slavery, having us down at the bottom, having us in chains and captivity, you know, trying to destroy us as a nation, the Heavenly Father's going to return that right back on you.
Yeah.
Double.
You know? Yeah,
Double.
double.
Yep.
Real quick, it's 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 8. It says, her infants are slain in the streets, her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation hath not had part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils?
Yeah.
It
And
said-
so,
Yeah. I
That's
got one.
all. That's all the nations.
all these heathen
That's why you got Psalms the 2nd chapter where the Lord said, ask of me the heathen in the uttermost parts of the land.
That's right. Give them thee for as an inheritance.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got something real quick. This is Micah chapter 5 and verse 12. And I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand.
And this is witchcraft. When you look up to the so-called founding fathers of this nation, the parliament, over there in Japan, over there in Africa, they're all based off witchcraft.
Yep.
All the heathen has worshiped Satan to get one part of this kingdom one way or the other. Everything we watch, all the idols of Lady Justice is nothing but a remix of the Egyptian Mayat. You got the obelisk, Semiramis, Tammuz, the Queen of Heaven, aka the goddess of 10,000 names. It's all remix. You got Baal, you got Baal Perith, Corinth. You got all these names. It's all Satanism, and they all have the same rituals of witchcraft. A little child's anus.
Right.
You know, when you look up IHS in the they call it the Society of Jesus in the Catholic Church. They show you the secret of their magic. The black sun is a little child's fucking rectum, and that's the power of their magic, which is witchcraft.
Yeah. All right, it says, and I will cut off witchcrafts out of thine hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers.
And when you look up witchcraft, it literally means any evil spirit. The Heavenly Father said, the Bible said there's only one good or two good, that's the Heavenly Father and His Son, because it said honor the Son as thou honor the Father. Any other spirit, if you're supping or sucking off of that vessel, is all witchcraft. Anything. The Catholic Church, Mormonism, Allah, Baptist, whatever. If it's not the truth according to the Bible, it's all witchcraft.
It's all witchcraft.
And look, our people are heavy into that too. Santeria, voodoo.
Yep.
Yeah.
That Santeria, man, that shit is wicked, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Freemasonry, OES,
Yeah.
witchcraft.
And don't forget, you have a lot of our people that live in these other countries that are heavy into Roman Catholicism and Islam.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that goes back to the Queen of Heaven. You all have parades with the statue of
They be
Semiramis
marching.
and
Levi
Tammuz.
be doing that shit heavy.
Yeah, they show you that movie, The Serpent and the Rainbow.
Yeah. Come on, this is verse. What was that? Verse 14. And I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee, so will I destroy thy cities.
That's a perfect example
That's
of
a
a grove.
That's a grove.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, because that's what Elder Idnop said. He said is what? Hey, it's pretty much the laws of karma. So as you did it to us, hey, we gonna be going around the world knocking your shit down.
Man,
Hey, that big Jesus statue in Brazil.
yeah.
Who you think gonna knock that down?
The Lord.
Right.
That's
They
right.
got, they got Egyptian obelisks all over the place, all over the earth.
Everywhere, man. It's all on
Yep.
top of buildings. And they got a lot of stuff hidden, man. So, hey, tell you that. What is that? I think it's Ezekiel 39, where it says we're going to go around and destroy their idols, and we got to destroy tanks,
Take it
missiles.
out fire and out
burn
wood,
fire.
and burn
And
it.
burn it.
Talking about laser beams and spiritual power.
Yep. And also in that same chapter in Ezekiel 39, it say how we going to sever our men of continual employment. And
right.
guess what? We got some jobs for you motherfuckers, man.
That's right. Yeah.
Just to be quite frank and honest, man.
Hey, well, y'all had a couple of thousand years of rest.
Right.
Hey,
I'm
this is a quick tidbit with the grove. Every church you look, whether it's the Mormon church, the Baptist church, all the windows are set up as groves, which go back into witchcraft, where they used to worship idols and demons under the groves of the trees and think that the Lord couldn't see them.
Well, that's what the arch is, because the grove is when the trees overarch over.
Yeah, yep.
And they used to go in there and they do their little rituals
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Man.
That's just arches, man. So these groves,
That's a grove,
they got to
yeah.
be destroyed,
Man,
man.
that's heavy.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish it off. It says, thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee. And thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands. And I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee, so I will destroy thy cities, and I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard.
That's those arrows of the Lord.
Yeah.
And when just to make a quick point, when you go to every city, you got the square, every capital, you got all these different idols, and most people ride by and don't think nothing of them. When you go to the courthouse, they got all these idols in front of them. Everything is based off of idols, and if they only have statues, they're using human idols. They took the people of our nation and made them idols. Like your Michael Jordans, your Mike Tysons, Michael Jacksons.
Or your celebrities.
You know? The word celebrity means a star to be exalted.
That's right.
What the Lord said, everyone that exalts itself shall be abased.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
I got some. This
We-
is
we wrap up
Isaiah.
soon.
This is Isaiah 47:10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me.
Yeah. And
You
what's
know?
their wickedness? When you look up Alexander the great faggot, they all dealt with soothsayers or magi's, or even when you got your next senator, president, they go to what you call the oration. When you look up the augury, those were the soothsayers or witches behind the scenes. They have a secret augury in private. They already know who's going to be elected. And then they should do another ritual in front of the public.
Right.
Yep. That's why the knowing the meaning of words is important, but it's all witchcraft. See, when people think of witchcraft, they link in a Harry Potter witch,
Right.
Potion
which
and
is
shit.
true.
It's true, yeah.
Because you look at the graduation, they're standing on the square, square and compass. You know, square and compass in Freemasonry are the square and the tassel, and they're dressed in a witchcraft regalia when you graduate. The judges, it's all witchcraft.
Yep.
That's right.
But if you not learn what the Lord said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, it'll go right over your head.
Yep. It says, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me.
Yeah, they said that they're the Most High. Who could stop Big Bad Great America?
Right.
Just to link up how America and Egypt is united, you got the three strongholds, or the power of three that the so-called white man uses. The inner city of London, where the Rothschilds who command and run everything, right? You got the District of Columbia, go back to the Queen of Heaven, where they got all Egyptian obelisks, and the false prophet of all false prophets, the Vatican, that's why they all got the Egyptian obelisks, because they're intertwined together.
Right? It says, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know.
Hey, same way it came down on Israel.
Yeah.
Hey, the Lord said, suddenly Israel shall be compassed with armies. You know?
Yep.
Hey, and then it speak about what? The land of Israel gonna be trodden down by the Gentiles. You know? Hey, it was all of a sudden. So guess what? It's gonna come right back to you. Just how you came down on Jake in the west coast of Africa real quick, like an eagle. That's why the Lord say he'll bring a nation on you swift as an eagle. That's hey, the scripture say that's how Yahweh Shah coming. Yahweh Shah coming like lightning. And so you get what you put out there, that's what you get, my boy.
That's right.
And that's what's gonna happen to you so-called white people. And Yahweh Bashim Shah ain't gonna let up on you until he accomplished that which he pleases.
Got that eagle eye on you. The thing about eagles, they can see they prey from miles away. Esau was watching us for a long time, just like Yahweh Shah was watching your ass.
He was watching us through the prophecies.
You know how they weakened us? When they came in, was it Antiochus? Like came in with the New World Order, said everybody to be one. When Jake started taking all their philosophy, they know that angers the Lord, so they knew they could come in and would have a resistance.
That's right.
Oh well. When you go into the history, it was an Ammonite by the name of Achior. He mentioned that. He mentioned that to the Greeks. And it was like, if their power be with them, you can't do nothing against them. But if they sin against the Most High, they power, then that's when we can come in and take them down. They knew it, man.
It was all the
Other
heathen.
nations knew.
And it was all it was Ammon, and it was all it's Judah. And all the heathen was together coming against Israel.
That's right.
That's where you get the UN, and UN is another word for Satan.
Hey, you know. So we just a quick on location. You wanted to close out with a precept?
Just a quick statement. You got one. I'm gonna say Joel the 2nd chapter. Since they came in with their armies, the Lord said He's coming with His armies. When you read Joel the 2nd chapter, but those armies are the nuclear missiles.
Real quick, Malachi 1 and 3. And I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage to waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh Shema Shai Tazabah, the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
That's it.
You know?
And guess what? They're talking about them in their pride, because even when you see the double-edged eagle or the eagle on the dollar bill, it really represents the phoenix, because the phoenix, in their belief, comes out of the ashes and rebuilds. They say that they're going to come out of this Third World War and rebuild. Even that pompous bastard, what's his name? Charles Manson.
Oh yeah.
He said they got a term in there called helter skelter, where they said Darky's gonna take over, but he's gonna leave some of us whiteys around because they're not smart enough to rule. That's the pride of their Esau.
Well, they're gonna be surprised when what was Revelation 13 and 10.
Yeah,
that's right.
Hey, when Jake get back in power, that's it. You in chains.
That's it.
right.
Hey, and that's why the scriptures make reference when you read the book of Daniel about that little horn that had the mouth. They say he spoke great swelling word. Saying shit. That's that type of shit. You know, saying they ain't. Guess what? We gonna get rid of you motherfuckers through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Shai at a particular point in time. And that's written in the prophecy. Since you want to say, they gonna leave around a few of us.
Right.
No, we not.
Your memorial's gonna perish. That's
That's right. Hey, it say the seed of Esau shall be destroyed.
You know, Trump is taking orders from the elites because he says he wants to make America great again. Well, he has to destroy this America that the people know now in order to try to bring back this new world order to make the elites and they, you know, to put them, you know, set them up. But the Lord, like the elder said, he got him in a trick bag.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's where you get that movie, The Purge. When you listen to all the purges, they say it's a new founding fathers.
New founding fathers.
That's the elites talking about they came and took over their property.
That's
You know?
right. You know, so the writing is on the wall, man.
That's right.
You know, we go around these different locations, and we can identify that these are the Edomites just based on this replica.
That's right.
What other nation would erect what the Romans erected?
Right.
You know?
Egypt, the daughter of Babylon, was about to be destroyed.
That's right. You know? So, you know, hopefully that was an edifying on location. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. You know, we had the elders with us today. Hopefully that was edifying. We're going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors once again to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And peace and safety to the elect. Shalom. And peace and safety to the elect. Shalom. Yahweh Shai. About 40 minutes.